Hello everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let's Talk Business with the Hailsham Chamber of Commerce. I'm here today with Abi Tappenden from the Children's Respite Trust. She's going to tell us some information about what the trust do, how they help local families. So, as a business, we are supporters of the Children's Respite Trust. I'm one of the charity's ambassadors. And really keen to get the charity more support. They do so much amazing work within the local community. So let's find out a bit more. So Abi, you've been here quite a long time now, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been with the trust for 4 years. I started as an apprentice, as an admin apprentice, and I just loved it so much. I'm so passionate about the work, and now do the marketing.
Because you seem to get quite involved within the fundraising that the Children's
Yeah,
Respite.
so officially I'm part of the fundraising team because so much of our funding comes from fundraising events like the Masquerade Ball, the Summer Soiree that you recently attended. So it's kind of because we're such a small team, we all have to get involved, set up, make sure it's like a really special evening and we can raise lots of vital funds for families in need.
Similar to us, you know, you wear several hats when you're
absolutely
involved in any kind of small operation. Yeah. I think something that's really important for people to know is just an idea on exactly how much it costs just to open your doors. You know, how much money do you need to pull in from charitable works, fundraising opportunities? You know, because I think I'm right in saying you don't actually get a lot of your support from central government whatsoever, do you?
The only funding that we get from the government is for our nursery. So we've got a nursery for SEND children under 5.
Yeah. And
that we receive funding for like under 2s, like any mainstream nursery would get. But beyond that, we receive no funding from the government. So it is all individuals, lovely businesses like you, and our fundraising events. They make up a massive proportion of our income.
So do you know roughly, say on a monthly basis, just how much it actually costs you to keep the centre opening and offering what you are offering to local families?
So what we tend to run on a basis of an amount a day, and at the moment that figure is about £500 is what we use as a marker. So say if someone wants to make a particular donation, that includes care costs, the roof over our heads, funding. So a lot of our children require more support, so additional support workers, communication, iPads, technology, all of that. Which £500 might not seem that much, but of course I can't do the maths right on the top of my head. Yeah. But it all adds up, and that is just to
maybe
to open
our
our
director
doors.
will work that out for us in the background.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I know a fair amount about what the charity does do within this local community for SEND children and their families. Maybe you'd like to speak to the camera as to what this charity does do to support local families.
Our primary mission is that no family should have to care for a disabled child alone. It can be a really isolating space because your children's got such high care needs, you might not be able to go out and work. So our mission is to ensure that parents get the chance to have a break, be that go to the shops, go do some chores, or simply just have a nap.
Is this on a regular basis, or is this a one-off?
Yeah, so it might be easy if I break down into our services. So we run the Little Stars, which I mentioned earlier, is the nursery. During school holidays, we have our Superstars, which is sort of 5 to 12-year-olds, and that is respite sessions in the school holidays where they can come along to the centre for a few hours, maybe go on a trip. Parents use that time to have a break. And then we have our All-Stars, which are our teenagers. Their sessions are a little bit more focused on getting out into the community, learning some life skills, building that independence.
Because you've got the minibus, so I'm assuming you take sometimes more than one out at a time.
Yeah, so our minibus is converted so it's got wheelchair access, because you can't get an electric wheelchair in a standard car. So it's really important that we've got that specialised vehicle. And then, we take the children out. We use it for siblings trips as well. So another group is our siblings. And then we do care events. So that's sort of Christmas, Easter, where families can come together and celebrate a holiday. Or it's so overwhelming for children with additional needs, particularly autism, to go to, say, Santa's Grotto, and you've got loud noises, you've got queues
in the middle of a shopping centre that's bustling.
And it's not accessible. They've got a step up to Santa. All of these things that we may not think about, or sort of the general public may not think about, can stop children accessing what is...
You and I would take it for granted.
Magic moment to meet Santa or the Easter Bunny. So we really focus on having those events, and they build community for families. Like I was saying earlier, that families can be isolated because they can't take their children
friends
places.
Haven't got a
they
send
can't,
child.
Exactly, or they don't understand the different needs, they don't understand the balances of the family. So a community of like-minded parents that understand. No one's going to look at a child wearing the defenders.
Find that then? So parents, through you guys, are building connections with other parents.
Absolutely.
They can relate to.
Yeah, it's a big part of our sort of support network. Isn't just us. It's by building a community for families. They've got other people they can rely on, other people they can talk to. We try and make ourselves available so if parents are in need and they can talk to us. But having other parents that are in the exact same situation...
It must be exceptionally hard.
Yeah, it is. There's challenges that we can't even comprehend. You wouldn't consider about sort of a breakdown on the way to school, or constantly having to advocate for your child's needs is a big one.
Everyday tasks.
Yeah.
To most people you don't even think about.
Yeah, and so a child with SEND needs typically would have an EHCP, which is an educational health care plan. Hopefully I've got that right.
I think you have.
So a lot of parents have to really fight for that for their child, because they can't just hand them out, because they require funding. And part of what we do
it costs a lot of money, doesn't it?
So we and that's getting them in the right school, then setting them up for life. So part of our Little Stars nursery is our team of
helping get them in the direction.
Helping them. That's how the charity actually started, was advocacy and trying to get funding from government. Quickly realised that there's not enough of that, so it's trying to fill it in with our and then it was getting support workers that we were sort of agency, and then we realised actually you can build these relationships with families, watch these children grow, build real support networks for them, and they thrive. So that's an important part of going back to that community feel. Like we have parents say, I wouldn't be here without you, because they're at a point where they
cope.
They absolutely
point.
can't. And so you've got a child that, so maybe when they're sort of that 0 to 2 age, it's not that noticeable. Maybe there's some slight delays, but as they get older and you're watching other children talk and be able to do stuff for themselves, and the child has got or a lot of children with autism will progress, and then they'll have regressions. So what you thought your child could do now can no longer do, and parents find themselves comparing. And it's a lot. And like I said, advocating for them, making sure they've got the right support in place. So, we try and help not just with our particular services, but help outside of our care to make sure children are getting the support. We work with social workers, the school, and we do assessments in school and at home, because children mask differently in different areas, just to get a full picture and the whole family. I'm
all about helping that family get. There's still little support really from the government, but it's helping them secure what little bit of support there is. A bit more help out there, because it's so hard to get. Yeah, and working with other organisations if there is other help that they can get, not just us, other places. I think there's lots of negative press, isn't there, about these EC Remind me.
EHCPs.
Lots of bad press around these EHCPs. You hear horror stories all the time, parents trying to almost work a system, but actually I don't think people have any idea about how hard it is to get that.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult. It's not straight. There's multiple assessments.
Layer upon layer of obstruction.
So many families had to go privately just due to massive wait lists. There's other burdens, care. So we don't charge our families for any of our services because there is additional costs with having a child with additional needs.
Well, yeah, I dare say that they're not able to work full time because they're the main carer for that child. So their income is probably likely to be lesser.
Yeah, we support families from all aspects. There's no requirements on income, what they earn. Disability doesn't pick who it affects. So a big part one of our values is being diverse, and that means helping any family that's in need.
Anyone that needs help.
But that there is additional costs to care, and families are struggling. So having a guaranteed session in the holidays where you don't have to pay for it, you know that your child's safe. I've had parents.
It must be a worry, mustn't it? If you're leaving any child with anybody,
but you've got a child that's non-verbal.
Extra needs.
They're non-verbal. Yeah. They can't tell you if something's happened. So some parents really
you're entirely
struggle.
entrusting you.
Yeah. So a big part of our safeguarding protocols are very strict and making sure that everyone here where the children are in the safest hands possible. But we've had parents before say, I cannot leave my child with anyone else because lots of families rely on grandparents nowadays for childcare, but some grandparents can't.
Are still working themselves.
But they can't look after a child with
additional
additional needs, or if they've got physical care needs like needing hoisting or needing lifting, wheelchairs, they might not be able to use them. There's so many layers to it.
Particularly as they get a bit older, actually, because once they're young adults, it's very difficult if you're in your 70s or 80s to be able to give that physical support that child
it's okay
needs.
when they're, like we were saying earlier, about the 0 to 2 age, they're still a baby, you can carry them. But once they get bigger, you need hoists, make sure you're safely lifting, make sure you're looking after yourself. Because if you're caring for this child or then young person, adult for the rest of their life, then that's going to take a physical toll on you. I think Carers Week has just gone by, celebrating the importance of carers, and most of the time unpaid carers.
What would we do without them?
Yeah, exactly.
Abby, let's say somebody had some spare time and they were really supportive of the cause. They might have had it within their own family. Are there things that aren't of a monetary value that people can do to support you? Do support volunteers?
So I think people get a little bit alarmed by volunteering because they think, it's a massive commitment. I've got to be there every week. I've got to do this and that. Or people might find it a bit daunting to maybe think that they have to work with the children. But there's volunteering opportunities from helping at specific events, say the Masquerade Ball. It's a beautiful event.
You host some quite big events.
Yeah, exactly. The Masquerade Ball is 400 plus people.
It's a lot to do.
We're a team of about 10, so we can't do that ourselves. So anyone that would like to help with that,
Have you got
amazing.
An existing team that you call upon?
Yes, so we've got our ambassadors, which you're kindly a member of. So they're people that, as you'd know, advocate for us, sort of if they see an opportunity, a bit like the Right Move.
We've just put you forward for it.
Amazing, great news. But sort of looking for opportunities for the trust and sort of putting the name forward or saying, I know an organisation that would really benefit from that. So that in itself is a form of volunteering because you're looking out for the trust. Like helping at events. Or if people do want to work
care providers as well, that's something they can do.
If people want to work directly with the children, see the impact. So as part of my role, I'm also the siblings lead, and it is one of the best parts of my job because I get children say to me, "This is the best day ever." And so if someone wants,
it can't be easy for the siblings.
No, so they've got
Because their
so much
life
pressures.
is dictated by the situation as well.
Yeah,
they're
and
not.
a lot of the time they've got no control over it. So they'll face pressures at school. Might be fear of bullying. They're often carers themselves.
Their parents might not be able to give them as much time.
Exactly.
Likely, they're unable to give as much time.
They'll feel, if their parents do try and give them extra time, the sibling might feel guilty because they know that their needs aren't as great. Like I said, I'm talking about physical care needs. So yes, the siblings club is a space for them to be themselves, space for them to really shine. And one of our ambassadors actually got involved with siblings and now sort of volunteers quite regularly with them because she likes to see the direct impact. It's lovely to come
You're
to the ball.
making that difference.
Yeah, and she's making a
the
difference
ground.
to their lives because she was then at the Bluebell Walk that we did at Arlington, and one of the children came up and said, "Oh, will you coming next time?" So she's built that relationship with the child, and they're looking forward to seeing her. So yeah, volunteering doesn't have to be that like massive commitment. You don't have to think, "Oh, I've got to do a day a week." But there's also stuff like office work, or if you've got a skill that you think you could apply.
I think there must be masses of behind the scenes work.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're so lucky that we've got so many lovely organisations or businesses, individuals that help, someone like Riley today, sponsoring this episode, allowing us to have this chat. Makes a massive difference to us because sometimes we don't have the budget to advertise or to be on.
That's the thing. How could you
on a
couldn't
big
warrant
platform.
the cost of something like this?
Studio W doing this today, it is an amazing act of support for us. And then they get to see the difference that they're making too.
Abi, everyone within their career, whatever they do, has a success story. What have you done that's given you the most satisfaction? Let's call it that. What has been the pinnacle of your time here at Children's Respite Trust?
Very recently, I did 2 applications for the Child of Sussex Awards. One of them being one of the siblings that I support, and one of them being one of our little stars. So for the little stars, I wrote him, and one of his support worker chose him to be the Achiever of the Year award. Little boy that came through our doors, he'd been turned down from a mainstream nursery because of his behaviour. He'd been told that he wouldn't be able to do certain things, and now he is using communication tools. He's started talking, he's playing with other children. He had no interaction with other children. He wasn't interested in that, and now he's built like friendships. And for a little boy from 2-year-old, and now he's going off to school and he's talking and he can communicate his needs. So what an incredible achievement. So he's shortlisted in the awards. And then one of the siblings, he actually spoke at the ball last year. He's just a superstar. He's helped at the ball. He's helped at the Bluebell Walk. He's volunteered at the centre. He's done gardening. He even came and washed all the chair covers with me at the laundrette.
I love that.
After, because like you say, all the stuff that goes behind the scenes. My role's marketing coordinator, but we do have to wash chair covers from the masquerade ball. So he came and did that with me, and he said, "Oh, I've had a lovely day," because he's getting out. It's in a space. It's a place he feels safe, and he really wants to become a firefighter. He's a carer for his sister.
But it actually shows a lot about you, that he feels like that around you.
It does
You're
feel
a safe
it
space.
does feel super special, because he'll talk about his sort of challenges he's had at school, and he's an incredible young lad. And so I nominated him for the Gold Award, and which is just sort of an all-rounder, not a child that fits in a particular category, but just someone that is really special. And when I got the call, I nearly screamed down the phone at this lady, this poor woman from More Radio got me going, ah! But I think you can do business awards applications, and it's great to get the team recognised, but to have our little ones and sort of big ones getting that chance to be like in the limelight, show what they've achieved. I think it's really, really special. And for me personally, I think it's amazing.
I love that. I really hope that everyone has enjoyed learning a little bit more about not just Abi, but the Children's Respite Trust as well. And that's given you some really helpful knowledge as to what the Trust does. And, you know, you guys are a pillar of the community. And I think without guys like this, a lot of people would be in a lot worse situation. And, you know, they do need a lot of support. It does cost a lot of money to run. You know, I'm sure Abi's sat here she could be sat at home. She isn't. She's here supporting this charity, and that's the kind of people you're working with. You mentioned earlier about Small Charities Week that's coming up.
Yeah, so Small Charities Week focuses on sort of the difference that smaller organisations make. And I think for local businesses, like at Hailsham Chamber, it's really important that when you support a small charity, you're supporting people in your own community. You could be supporting your neighbour, and most of the time you know exactly where your money's going. We can tell you what a donation is spent on. Whereas when it goes into a much bigger organisation, you might not be able to keep track.
It's much less quantifiable.
Yeah, you will also know the people that it's going to in terms of the staff, the volunteers, the mostly people in your sort of networks. So you know that what they're doing with that money or that time that you're volunteering.
Community.
Exactly. And I think that's really important for Hailsham Chamber, is big about supporting businesses in your room, supporting your communities, really.
I really like that. Okay, I mean, I have found this really informative, and I hope that everybody else at home has as well. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And, you know, if you've got any more questions, you want to know more about the Trust, you want to contact Abi, all of her contact details will be added in the link as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a review, get in touch if you want to create one yourself. We're more than happy to come along and get you in front of the camera. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
Great being here as always.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.